Gordon's Garage. We're over here at Never Satisfied's Rainy Day Garage again, and we're going to do a Will It Start. A 1960 Olson curbside made by Grumman. And Never Satisfied, he picked this thing up somewhere. I'm not sure where he picked it up, dragged it out of a field somewhere, and I was not with him to video that, but nevertheless it is here now, and all aluminum body. I've never had hardly any experience with these Grummans, but it seemed to be very straight. The old thing's been sitting so long that the tires have long since rotted out from underneath it. Someone had turned it into a camper previously in its life, so it's got these aluminum camper windows in it. Missing the back window, but a couple aluminum camper windows here in this side as well. But everything, I mean, it seems to be all there. I'm just seeing it for the first time today. See, somebody had put cabinets in it and turned it into a little camper. Actually, there's the camper toilet that was in it that they've already ripped out. Yeah, let's see how many miles is on this thing. Can you see that? I can't really see it. Let me see. 91,632 it says. Probably original. There's the engine. Old Chevy 6-cylinder. Points. Man. Straight drive. I imagine that's probably just an old 3-speed with an overdrive maybe. There's the parking brake. Old battery access. God, there's not much room to get to that engine though. Well, I guess that cover there will come off. It's got a straight screw there. Yeah, we'll get to it. There's a little cover here. What is under this cover? So you get to your radiator coolant here. Yeah, I guess it's got the access that it needs everywhere to get to the fuel and ignition. That carburetor, weird, like a downdraft carburetor on it or something. Like I said, this will be our first time with these old Olson Grummans, so it'll be a learning experience. Glass is good. Yeah, grill straight. All the lights are there. Lenses are all in one piece. And the more I look over this thing, the more I realize it's really a straight truck. It's got the power access there for camping and stuff. Yeah, so, alright. Appreciate you guys watching, and just stay tuned for 1960 Grumman Olson curbside Will It Start video coming soon. Your feet dangles.
Yeah.
Did it really?
All right, he's on video.
you're on video. What'd you say about Leslie?
He said she needs to sit on that pop. Sit on the pop. Big dang on pop. Yeah.
All right, now we can see something.
Bet it's pretty under there, ain't it?
Oh yeah, real pretty. Missing some spark plug wires. There's the stata. We'll have to see if that is going to...
Old Jay hadn't called you yet. No, old Jay ain't called me. You need to put some dang wheels on this thing for the roll.
Yeah, for sure. It's a big GM SIGs. I know it's GM because it says Chevrolet on the valve cover. Missing a couple of spark plug wires. I guess we could pull the dipstick out.
See if it's got any oil in it.
See if it's got any Earl. You can see a dipstick. Probably.
There's dipsticks sitting out here in this chair.
Yeah, 2 of them.
No, I ain't in the chair.
Oh, the dipstick might be under this flap here.
They got a pretty good battery to pull on camper stuff.
I do not see a dipstick. An Earl dipstick. I'm sure it's got one though.
Right there it is.
Where? Yep, sure enough. Pull it out of there. It's got Earl on it.
It looks like clean oil too, don't it?
Yeah, it's pretty clean. It's probably got gas in it.
You wanna run this thing, Harry? Huh?
Okay. So we got a battery sitting in it. We're gonna hook it up and see if we can start any fires. Hook it up and look for smoke. If nothing smokes, then that'll be a good sign.
God, pee. Pee out of my head.
Let's put this positive on here first. And then we'll put this negative up.
It ain't even got a spark to it.
It's a good battery. All right, so he's got, there is a key switch, but he doesn't have the key.
No.
Okay. And he's got this key that he bought, this remote thing, so, but I'm not gonna try to rewire that today. Okay, so we have the battery hooked up. I don't see any smoke anywhere, so we'll put the remote starter on it. Cody tighten a knot.
I don't know what he done.
Well, I don't have the... Yeah, it probably wouldn't take much to crank it. Okay, we have, again, we've hooked the battery up, positive and ground. We've got our remote starter switch here hooked up, and I've got it run down to the starter. And let's see, we've checked the oil, we know it's got oil in it. So, here we go, remote start. Yep, motor turns over. There you go, telling. Motor turns over, doesn't sound bad. At least it's not locked up. So that's a start. At least we know the starter works. We know the engine turns over and
got oil in it.
it's got oil in it.
We didn't check the water.
So we need to check the points and see if they're sparking after I put power to the coil. And we need to get that air breather off. This thing's got some kind of a downdraft carburetor. The intake manifold's on the driver's side of the engine, but under the floorboard, and they've piped around to this carburetor. So I'm gonna have to learn something about that.
Everything's on the right side, John.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so we got this thing turning over by its starter, and that's a good sign. Starter works, engine's not locked up, and it seems to be getting oil pressure. It sounds good. So at this point, we're going to look at the carburetor. So the way this engine is set in the chassis, the intake manifold is right under the floorboard. So they have so they put a downdraft carburetor on it. It's like an old tractor, and I've messed with those before, but I don't know how available those are, or rebuild kits for those are. So I guess we'll probably just go move on toward the distributor and see if we got fire on our points and can get some spark, and maybe we'll just shoot some starter fluid in that vacuum hose there and see if we can get the engine to bust fuel just momentarily, and then we'll know if it's worth going any further. I was just looking at the back of that generator there. The end cone is going off of it. That's, you know, this whole thing's crusty, but I bet she'll run. So obviously there's no key, so I'm gonna unplug this and take this key lock out, drill the center out just so we can turn it with a screwdriver. We've got that aftermarket one there, but this is basically just an old GM style switch, so we can get a new key solenoid for it. Alright, so I've got the key switch out of here, and now all we got to do is stick our screwdriver in there and turn it over with the key switch. Now, we got spark. Okay, she's trying to run, but it's just not going to run well until we get our carburetor issue resolved. But I'm going to spray some more starter fluid down in this vacuum port and just see if we can hear it pop again. See, it's trying. Yeah, I have no doubt in my mind, once we get a proper carburetor on it, whether we get one or rebuild it, get some fuel up to it, she'll run just fine. Okay guys, so I actually pulled the carburetor off and went through it, and I forgot to film the process of tearing it down. Just got busy and got to going on it. But I mean, it's very simple. Basically, your accelerator pump is here. Fuel comes in here through this little bowl. Your needle and seat is in here. and your float is in here, and then your air tube comes in right here. So, and it was really clean. I mean, there's no rubber parts to it at all inside. It's got one paper gasket here that stayed together, and I was surprised how clean it was actually. So soaked it overnight and all the little parts and put it back together. I'm going to put it back on the truck now, but I'm going to first see if the fuel pump is going to pump fuel. Okay, so basically I've got me a Mason's jar full of gas here, and let's see if you can see I have taken the fuel pump from the tank off of the pump and put my own little fuel line on there, and we're going to just dip it into this Mason's jar. Uh-oh, maybe we can use that cup holder. Nope. But anyway, yeah, there we go. We're going to set that line in that Mason's jar and turn the engine over and see if it'll pull fuel. See if the pump will pump out of that Mason's jar. So let me get the battery all hooked back up. Okay, so I'm going to turn the key over now, and let's watch that jar and see if this pump will pull any fuel out of it. Oh, that fuel's going up and down. It's pulling it. Trying to anyway. I may need to pour a little fuel down in that line just to prime that pump. Okay, I got me some fuel in a water bottle now. We'll got a hole in the top of the lid. We'll squirt some fuel down in that hose and try to feed that pump. Get that pump wet and primed, because it's probably pretty dry. Alright, put that back in there and see if she'll pick that fuel up or not. Oh yeah, she's squirting fuel now. Okay, that line right there is where the carburetor should be. See that? She's getting fuel now. Okay, dudes, here we go. We've got the carburetor mounted. Stepping all over stuff, but we got the fuel pump pumping, I hope. Or we did. So let's see. Just make sure it's out of gear. We're going to try to crank it. Battery's getting weak. Let me hook the jumper to it. I squirt a little bit of fuel down in that line again just to get her started. It could end up needing a pump. I mean, you know, this thing has been sitting for a long time. I don't know how long it's actually been sitting. Judging that the tires have rotted off of the thing, then I would imagine it's probably been sitting since the 70s or something. It's pulling it. It is pulling the fuel in there. goofy of me. Just too excited. I forgot to tighten the fuel line. Trying. Forgot to turn the charger on. Alright, the thing is that choke is closed. Maybe I probably need to open that up. It tried. Heard it. That's exciting. Go ahead and put some water in the radiator just so we can run it longer. I don't want to overheat it or anything like that. Get all this junk out of here so it don't get caught up in the belts and stuff. Man, I guess that's an old defrost hose. Yeah, we'll try to get some water in there, crank it up and run it a little longer. Old-fashioned Christmas emergency. Hey, y'all stay tuned for part 2 where we'll do the brakes, tires, and take it on a test drive. Thanks for watching.